In this topic, we will take a closer look at the types of different MySQL indexes and see physical examples on how they're used. Indexes in MySQL are not very different than indexes used in other database management systems. As a matter of fact, they're more alike than they are different. Remember that MySQL is in the Oracle family and now shares much of the same DNA. By the end of this topic, you'll be able to identify each type of MySQL index, at least the major ones, and see how they're defined in code. Let's get busy. Take a look at the indexes here. These guys should look familiar. Before we jump in, I want to point out that there's a correlation between an index and a constraint. In some instances, they are one and the same. Indexes are used both for searching for records via some SQL select statement, as well as being used to relate tables together, hence relational database management system. Which index you use and how the system treats them and how you maintain them is important. But first, let us take a look at each and learn more about them by looking at some code examples. Let's look at a unique index, a primary key, a simple index, a full text search index, and a descending index. Let's take a look at unique indexes and primary keys. In this example here, we have a couple of tables. We have stores and we have customers. Now we have different types of constraints. We have a primary key constraint and a foreign key constraint. Now basically, the constraint reflects a unique value. For example, the primary key is unique in stores and in customers, basically meaning that that value cannot be duplicated. It has to be unique in those specific tables. Now also, we have unique indexes and primary keys go hand in hand with foreign keys, or basically relating two tables together. When we have a foreign key, we have a situation of a unique index because we have a column in table A that's going to reference a unique value in table B. And that's how we relate tables together in relational database management systems, is we have a consortium of different key values. In this case, again, we have a primary key and we have a foreign key, both unique. Let's move on to simple indexes. Now, a simple index is different than a unique index that we used in the last example. When we use a unique index, like the example where we used a primary key and a foreign key, what we're doing is we're using that index to relate two tables together. When we use a simple index like here, what we're doing is we're basically taking the retrieval and making it shorter for a SQL select statement. For example, take the following table. We have the employee number, the employee name, the salary, and a gender. If I were to write a SQL statement such as select star from test normal, where salary is greater than $10,000, if we do not have an index on the salary column, what's going to happen is that SQL statement is going to have to parse through every single record to get the result and the return value or the result set from that SQL. So if we have 1,000,000 records in the test normal table without an index on the salary column, the salary column is going to have to be read 1,000,000 times before we get our result set. Now that can be changed by a simple index that we have here on line 10 and 11. On line 10 and 11, what we're doing is we're dropping an index and then we're creating one. When we create an index, what we're doing is we're creating a database structure that kind of acts like a card catalog. So if I did the same SQL statement, select star from test normal where salary is greater than, let's say, $10,000, what's going to happen is it's going to use a binary tree algorithm to go through each record in the test normal table, therefore not doing a full table scan. When we use indexes in this way, we really simplify and speed up database retrieval from select statements. Now that leads us to our next example, which is a full text index. Now a full text index is exactly what it sounds like. It's used for full text searches. Now you would use this if you want to find like a blob of text that contains maybe a certain word or perhaps a group of words, or if you want to find a substring within a large big string. Now this is how this works. Instead of the entire value being indexed as a whole, a full text index will index the individual words inside of each large text block. This makes it a lot faster to find a specific word or phrases inside a whole text. That brings us to our last example, which is a descending index. Now, in a descending index, an index will be created in a descending or inverse order of the value of the column. In this case, we have a descending index on salary. So salary will be indexed based on the lowest salary first and the highest salary last. This would be useful if I ran queries that would want to get maybe the 10 lowest salaries or maybe all salaries that are below average. There you have it. You have seen and can identify each of the major indexes used by a MySQL database. There are still tons more to do, like clustered versus unclustered indexes, and also how we can benchmark the performance of indexes. We will start with some of this work in the next topic, where we'll start learning about how indexes are maintained in the topic titled Maintaining Indexes.